In the following play example, the dark side player is using a Sith deck, while the light side player is using a Jedi deck. At the start of the game, the Death Star dial is set to 0, and the balance of the Force token is placed with the light side face up. Players can test the balance of the Force throughout the game. Focus, damage, and shield tokens are gathered in the token pool. Each player also has 3 Force cards in his supply, which are used to commit units to the Force. Players begin by drawing 4 cards from their objective decks. 3 of these cards are selected to be used for the beginning of the game and are placed face down on the table. The 4th unused objective is placed at the bottom of the player's objective deck. Next, each player draws the top 6 cards of his command deck, and both players, beginning with the dark side, reveal their 3 objective cards. The game is now set up and ready to begin. Each player's turn consists of 6 phases, which are listed on his affiliation card. The dark side player takes the first turn. The dark side player is using a Sith deck and has a starting hand of the following cards: Dark Side Apprentice, Force Choke, Heat of Battle, I'm on the Leader, Rancor, and Interrogation Droid. He also has the following objective cards in play: Shadows of Dathomir, the Emperor's Web, and the Heart of the Empire. During each dark side balance phase, the dark side player advances the Death Star dial by 1 point. In the refresh phase, focus and shield tokens are cleared, and any destroyed objectives are replaced. As this is the first turn of the game, none of these effects take place at this time. In the draw phase, the dark side player either discards or draws cards from his hand until his hand size matches his reserve value as shown on his affiliation card. Before drawing, he may choose to discard 1 card from his hand. Discarding allows him to get rid of a card he does not like, in the hopes of drawing a more desirable card. The dark side player decides to discard I'm on the Leader. He then draws 1 card from his command deck, Emperor's Royal Guard, in order to bring his hand count back to 6, matching the reserve number listed on his affiliation card. During the draw phase, players must always draw up to or discard down to the reserve number, regardless of the number of cards in their hand. During the deployment phase, the dark side player may use his resource-providing cards to generate resources and play unit and enhancement cards from his hand. Each of his objectives, as well as his affiliation card, shows a resource icon, indicating that the card can be used to generate resources. A player may generate resources up to a card's resource value by placing 1 focus token on the card for each resource he wishes to generate. Focus tokens indicate that a card has been used to perform a function. A card with 1 or more focus tokens on it is considered exhausted and cannot be used again until the focus token is cleared. To play a card from his hand, a player must generate a number of resources equal to the card's cost, which is shown in the upper left-hand corner. Also, at least one of the resources generated to pay for a card must match the affiliation of the card. The dark side player wishes to play an Interrogation Droid, which has a cost of 3. He places 1 focus on his affiliation card and 2 focus on the Shadows of Dathomir objective card, and he then adds the card to his play area. This card has the text, Reaction. After this unit enters play, discard 1 card at random from each opponent's hand. The dark side activates this card's ability, and the light side player discards. The dark side player also wishes to play Dark Side Apprentice, which has a resource cost of 2. He places 1 focus on the Emperor's Web and 1 focus on the Heart of the Empire to generate 2 resources and play the card. Note that when placing focus tokens to generate resources, a player may place any number of focus tokens up to that card's resource value. The dark side player could have placed 2 focus tokens on the Heart of the Empire to play the Dark Side Apprentice, but only 1 focus token can be cleared from each of his cards during the refresh phase. Placing 2 focus tokens on the Heart of the Empire would therefore exhaust it for 2 rounds. Instead, The dark side player chooses to generate the 2 resources for Dark Side Apprentice from 2 separate cards. This decision will ready the heart of the Empire sooner, which helps the dark side player later in the game. All of the dark side's resource-providing cards are now exhausted, and he cannot pay for any more cards. The conflict phase is skipped on the dark side's player's first turn, as the light side player has not yet had a chance to play any units. The dark side player now has the option to commit his units to the Force. A unit thus committed is acting or being used away from the front lines in order to further the cause of the light or dark side of the Force. The dark side player decides to commit both the interrogation droid and the dark side apprentice to the Force. To do this, he takes 2 of his 3 Force cards from his supply and attaches 1 to each unit. Next, the Force struggle is contested. Each player counts the number of Force icons on his units that are both ready and committed. A ready unit is one with no focus tokens on it. Currently, the dark side player counts 3 Force icons, and the light side player counts none. This shifts the balance of the Force to the dark side, and the token is flipped to represent this state. After completing this phase, the dark side player's turn is over.